Hi, hi, Patrick here. I have Cheetah Will View. Um, it is 45 minutes into the new year, and I thought I'd go ahead and because I really haven't been feeling all that swifty. Uh, so I thought I'd go ahead and give you guys my top 10 movies that we watched, and of course we have a bottom 10 as well. Um, didn't watch as many movies as I thought I had watched. So that's why it's only 10 apiece. Plan on fixing that this year, trying to watch a little bit more. And yeah, we'll just see what we can see if we can improve upon that. But we do got some worthy candidates on the both sides of the fence. We got more than 10 good movies. I could easily have done a top 20. A bottom 10 is pretty bottom 10. It's like, yikes. Um, I guess I will go with the top 10 first. This is going to just be verbal. It's going to tell you what I liked about some of the movies. Some of them might be, some of them will be in my playlist. I'll put them as much down as I can in the description box. So if you want to go see either the show that we talked about it or the review that I did for it, I'll put it down in the description box below. Those that don't have one didn't get one, but there you go. All right, so for the good stuff first, so for the top 10 of 2022. Now, I watched my movies and rank them based on if I've seen them for the first time or not. I don't always necessarily go with the year that they're released, though. There is one that was, um, but some of these are just movies that I've seen for the first time. This is how I saw them. All right. So number ten is a film called Ditched. Um, That movie was phenomenal. We got to talk to a pair of actors on that movie. Um, uh, uh, Tremendously interesting movie. Has some good Saw-like qualities about it, and also the ending of that movie is a shocker. um, didn't see it coming, and that's pretty good for a movie to do that to me because most of the time you pretty much always see what's coming down the road. I did not, and I really liked the twist, and it was awesome, and I thought everybody in the whole movie did really well. And unfortunately, this is just out for streaming right now. There's not a physical copy of it for it. Hopefully, sometime maybe that'll get fixed in 2023. But Ditched is my number 10. The number nine is the second film that I watched from the Wedding Veil. I know I just got that this month, but I did watch it, and I watched the second movie called The Wedding Veil Unveiled, and I really, really enjoyed that film very much. Um, yes, it's a Hallmark movie, but if you didn't know that, if I hadn't have told you that, if I just said it's just unveiled, The Wedding Veil Unveiled. I think anybody who likes a good romantic comedy, a romantic movie in general, I think that you would embrace this. I mean, if you like the rom coms from the 80s and the 90s, early 2000s, like with Meg Ryan or Matthew McConaughey or things like that. This movie fits right into that category as in rom coms or romantic dramas. It's really good movie. Has a lot of heart and a good script and great performances. Uh, Number 8 is an anthology film. It's a bit of an anthology film. It's called Life on the Rocks, and this was a blind buy for me. I totally bought it blind buy. It is absolutely terrific. Has some awesome performances in it. It's a story that has 5 or 6 different layers to it, and just it's an awesome ensemble acting, and it all is tied into a bar. Uh, and the central stories run through the bar. There's 4 or 5 different stories that go through it, and this allows a lot of good actors like Ray Wise, Ollie Eisman, um, to get in there and to basically show off their chops. And it is a terrific film and one I enjoyed very much. Life on the Rocks. Number seven is a recent first time watch for me. I've had it for a long time, but I've never watched it until now. And that is Everly, that was written and directed by Joe Lynch, and stars Selma Hayek. And once again, Joe Lynch strikes. Joe Lynch is an amazing director, filmmaker. He makes fantastic movies. And what really gets me about his movies is the cast that he can get. I mean, he gets some amazing talent for his movies. Um, his movies are always on the lower end of things as far as lower budgets go, but he attracts some seriously talented actors to his projects, and it's amazing. And Selma Hayek is really strong in Everly. Um, she's it's an intense movie. It's an intense movie. It opens up with a scene. It opens up with a scene that you're hearing more than you're seeing, and that makes it even more terrifying. But what happens after that is really, really cool. There's a nice homage to a few movies in there, including one for Reservoir Dogs, one from Crank. I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was a nice twist. Um, and overall, I really enjoyed this. It had me at the edge of my seat, and definitely rooting for Everly. Um, she's a pretty badass. She's a pretty badass, and she does deal out a lot of damage. I'll say that much. It's a great action film, and I thought this was actually better than Desperado, which is another movie that Salma Hayek did with Antonio Banderas. That was more action oriented. I thought she was better here, but you have to go check out the movie and tell me what you think. Everly uh, at number seven. Number six is a movie we covered on the IFC Midnights. We covered Relic, which is the IFC Midnight film, and that's an amazing film too. Seems like number six is a little low for this movie, quite honestly. Uh, but this is one of the best ISC midnight films that we watched and talked about. Um, this is a hard movie. This is a very hard movie. Um, it's allegorical. So what you're seeing is just basically it's symbolizes what's going to happen in the real world to some of us. Some of us already happened to it. It's already happened to us, and it just tells the story in a different way. I know some people say it's a haunted house story. It's not. It's not a haunted house story. Not at all. Um, it is a very much a family film. Very much a family film. But it's dark, and so. But Relic would be my number six film. Number five is a movie I watched very early on in the year, and I knew it was going to be my top 10. I knew there was going to be anything. I just didn't think I didn't think there'd be 10 movies to knock it out of the pedestal. I just didn't think so when I watched it way back when. I think I watched it in February, and that is 9 days. 9 days. Wow. That's a fantastic film. Fantastic. Um, just blew me away. Uh, um, it's heartbreaking. It's thoughtful. It's provocative. Um, it stays with you. It's a movie that you won't forget. Um, how it's just the concept of how do we get put on this planet, um, and the storytelling behind it. What goes into what goes into that. Uh, it's a really deep movie, and very well made, very well done, and like I said, it will stay with you for a long time. So 9 days will be our number five film. All right, number four. Number four, Werewolves Within. Werewolves Within. This was another movie that was covered on the ISC Midnights. by a good friend, Mike from American Werewolf in New Jersey. I had gotten this film at the library, but he covered it. He picked it up for us to cover. So glad he did. It's a fantastic movie. Um, so much fun. Really cool movie. Good ensemble cast. Sam Richardson, Melania Weintraub, just super fun together. Um, Melania can act. She's a lot more than just the girl from the commercials. Sam Richardson is a fine comedian. He has a really good comedic touch. There's other fine ensemble actors as well. It puts a new spin on the werewolf movie. And this is a horror comedy, and it has a lot of fun. It definitely is a lot of fun. Really, really like this quite a bit, and I would definitely recommend it for sure. Uh, so let's see. Number three, number three on our list is Remember Sunday. This is my second Hallmark movie I put on the list. Remember Sunday is a beautiful film, and it's very well acted. And it doesn't have your usual Hallmark ending. I'll tell you that right now. It does not. It is a different type of movie. Um, this is a Hall of Fame movie, Hallmark Hall of Fame, which means that they put a little bit more money and thought into the story, into the casting. The budgets are bigger, and you could definitely see all that on display here in this movie. This movie definitely is definitely heavier. It's a fine film, beautifully acted. Uh, um, Alexis Bledel and Zachary Quinto, Zachary Levi. Yeah. Oh, God, did I put that right? Oh well, I did. I did. Um, I didn't grab all the movies for display, but I did like this movie quite a bit. I thought it was. It definitely is. It makes you, makes you if you're into good drama. So if you want to see a good drama, and I know some of you guys out there will like look down at the Hallmark label because you think of Christmas movies and whatnot. But if you ever see Hallmark that says Hall of Fame on it, those are the movies that are worthwhile looking at. And don't let the title take that away from you. Um, Trust me when I tell you these movies are well made and well thought and well written and well acted. And with, like I said, with well known personalities that you know and like. All right. Um, number two. This is my one film from last year that was released last year that I voted for, and that is Children of Sin. Children of Sin is my number two movie of 2022, and it is a corker. Holy crow! It is, yeah. Um, Written and directed by Christopher Moore and starring the rising star Meredith Muller, and this is a film that will definitely keep you on your toes. I know that the Peacock had tried to do another movie sort of like in the similar themes with Kevin Bacon called Them They that has absolutely been crushed. I tell you this, I recommend you watch Children of Sin. You can watch that on Tubi. That movie is absolutely brilliant, bloody brilliant. And just like just like in Ditched, where it has an ending that you don't necessarily see. Well, in Children of Sin, they have a couple of scenes in there that will have you cringing, will have you definitely going like, "Holy shit!" Um, Very disturbing, very scary, terrifying actually, but it works so well. I love a good movie that puts me on edge. And Children of Sin definitely did that. It was a very uncomfortable watch, but in all the good ways because you're sitting there going, "Holy!" You just you're this is a good movie, fantastic characters. Uh, and Christopher Moore strikes again. He not only did he write and direct, but he also had a small role in this movie, pivotal role. So he did it all triple threat on this film. Um, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. And I do hope that somewhere down the line in 2023, this will get a home release. This movie deserves to be put out on DVD, Blu-ray. It definitely needs a home release. But for now, it is playing on Tubi and a whole bunch of other streaming services, so you can able to go out and watch it. But whoever is just doing the distributing, please put this on the home release. I'd like to buy a copy. Yep. Children of Sin. My number one movie that I watched this year. Again, we go back to the ISC Midnights, and I picked The Nightingale. The Nightingale was my number one movie. I think about this movie a lot, a lot. This is a fantastic movie. Um, it stays with you. Uh, it's historical drama, and it is a brilliant movie. Directed by Jennifer Kent, written and directed by Jennifer Kent, who also did The Babadook. And she stays in her home country, Australia, to put together just an incredible film about the injustice of Australia back when it was a penal colony, and it's a movie that will stay with you, guaranteed. Not an easy watch, not an easy watch, but an important one. And there's enough there to make you, you want to after the movie's over, you'll probably want to go start reading a little bit more about the history of the country. That's for sure. Um, this is a well thought movie, well thought out movie, well acted movie, and highly recommend. And that is my number one film for 2022. Like I said, I could put a lot more out there as far as that goes. I mean, some of the honorable mentions, Tackle the Killer Donuts. That tells you how strong this list is. Is what the donuts didn't make the list. I did. It's a hell of a list. A new movie I just saw this week called Clay Zombies. Them and donuts together are a that's a double header. That's a double feature of that I would pay at a theater to watch. Fantastic. Those are two very fun movies. Um, I don't know if Zombies will get a physical release or not, but if it does, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be watching Zombies and Donuts. And Ohio has a lot of filmmakers, a lot of great filmmakers. So I definitely want to recommend those two movies. Honorable mentions. All right, so bottom 10, right? Bottom 10. Oh, did I freeze here? Oh shit! None of this recorded. Hope so. Oh, I guess I'll find out when I hit the replay on this. All right, looks like it said I was frozen, but here I am back. All right. So this will be the bottom 10. Bottom 10. Gosh. I'd like to sit here and say that I didn't watch any bottom 10s because, me and the Cheetah, we only watch the finest quality entertainment. But I would be lying. We did watch our fair share of stinkers. Um, I'm not going to put these in any random order. I mean, they're all there for the reason, whether it be number one or number 10, they're all were number two. So, so these are the bottom 10 of the movies that I watch for 2022 that I was like, oh Lord have mercy. All right, number one is Wes Craven's Shocker. Wes Craven's Shocker. So I have never watched this movie. I remember when it came out and everything else years and years ago, but I never got a chance to watch it. I found a copy at the library. I bought it. I put it up for Dollar Tree Theater. It got picked, and I watched it, and I was like, "This movie is some bullshit." This movie looked dated from the minute it was released. Not a fan of this movie at all. I was really disappointed. Um, at least, they had a good villain in Horrence Pinker. I'll give them that. Had a good and the cast wasn't all that bad, but the effects were just like greatest American hero bad. Sci-fi bad, asylum bad. I mean, it was just bad, and it takes you out of the movie, and it's just like it's terrible. It was just no, no. I waited for all this time to watch it. I wish I had waited all that time to watch. I wish I had all that time back. Uh, just, it's not a good movie. Wes Craven didn't always put out winners, kids, and Shocker is definitely not. Number two, Death House. I remember this movie getting so much hype. Um, they were calling it the horror icons, the Expendables, which means they grabbed together every single independent horror icon that we have, and they stuck them in this movie, give them a couple of lines, and then we were supposed to all go ooh and ah about it, like, oh, did you see who that is? Oh my gosh, they got that person. And the director went on the commentary, and he was saying how much he did this and he did this for the fans, and he wanted to put a homage here and a tribute there, and during all that, he just forgot one thing. He forgot the movie that he was making, because this movie was so bad. Oh, I felt sorry for everybody involved in it, because I know they probably did it for a Subway sandwich and a voucher for a Coke at the gas station, which means they didn't get paid very much money for it. That's a shame too, because it was a hell of an idea. But the movie was just god awful. There's no storyline worth a tinker's damn in it. Um, the gore's not even all that on that point. Actors, I mean, great that we see their faces, but can we actually have a couple of lines with them? Um, no, 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 you can't. You're not allowed to. You're only allowed to see. Oh, wow, there's Kane Hodder. Oh, okay, no, Kane Hodder's out of the movie. Oh, there's a shit. I mean, how do I? Well, just a waste of an opportunity, waste of a cast. Um, I think they probably were a little bit too ambitious. It would have been better off going with like what the Expendables did, and do like 12, do 10 or 12 actors instead of 20 or 30, and then go that way. Make it smaller, make it leaner, and make sure there's a story. So yeah, the director is talking about having a sequel getting made. Never going to happen. Next up is a film directed by Dario Argento called Giallo from 2009. And I went into this movie super hyped. Had Adrian Brody in it. Has I was like super happy to see that. Has some other stars in it as well. Like I said, I didn't bring them out to do this review. I'm just telling you what they are. You can look them up, but like I said, you can look up any and all reviews that I've done from these movies. I'll put them in the description box down below. I was super hyped up because it was like all right, Adrian Brody doing a Giallo movie with Argento. I mean, how could you lose with that, right? Somehow, some way, they managed to do it. They managed to make it a loser. Argento didn't disown this film. Adrian Brody had to sue for the other half of his salary. He refused to do any publicity for this movie until he got paid. This movie is just bad. It's awful. It's just bloody awful. It reveals itself. It reveals this killer way too soon. There's no mystery. It was gore for gore's sakes. That's not how the Argento is. There's always a point for his madness. You get the feeling that this movie that he directed, afterwards when they edited it, they did not edit it to what he wanted it to be, and he just, like I said, he disowned this, and I can understand that. So Giallo's like horrible. Not the Argento you want to get. Even as a completist, I will tell you to be wary of this one. Um, let's see, for Hornet, it was a mockbuster based on Bumblebee by the Asylum. That's all I can really say about this movie. I watched it. It was bloody awful. Though our girl Danny Inks is in it for a minute, that was cool to see. But overall, this movie was not very good at all. And yeah. All right. Let's see. Pumpkins. Oh, where do I begin with this? Wow. I think it's easier to talk shit about really bad movies than it is to talk great about great movies. Um, but Pumpkins is bloody awful. It's an English film. Makes no sense. It's incoherent. It's gore for gore's sakes. No storyline. It's just a bunch of people getting put up there in front of the camera and slaughtered. There's no rhyme or reason about it. It's just bloody awful. Not impressed at all. Terrible. Uh, Next up, we did a Mark Polonia week this year. We teamed up with Steven from House of Horrors, me and Al Lecard, the Bat from the Midnight Society. We teamed up to celebrate all things Mark Polonia, and so we each reviewed 5 movies. And one of the movies I reviewed was Force Primeval. I just I know that I know it's funny. It's like I actually reviewed another movie of his called Amityville Death House, which I sort of liked. I sort of liked Amity Death House. I thought it was halfway decent. Of course, the Bat he hated on it. He crushed it. I'm crushing Force Primeval. Force Primeval was some bullshit. Um, I mean, it's so bad. This is just a really, really bad movie. Well, Polonia Brothers, what can I say? Has a few of the usual Polonia pals in it, but you can't save it. Probably an early effort for the Polonia Brothers, um, but yeah, it's not a good effort. It may be early effort, doesn't necessarily mean it's a good effort. It's pretty horrible. All right, The Banished. Um, yeah, that's pretty good title for this film because I banished it after like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I was like, oh no, no, I got to get this out of my Blu-ray player before it breaks it. Um, so I made it only 15 minutes through The Banished. This movie was just, oh, it made no sense, incoherent. No, no, no. Oh, it's just awful, just bloody awful. It resolves itself. It was almost ready to resolve itself in the first 20 minutes. I don't know what happened to it because I really didn't give a shit about it, but it was pretty awful. And I this is the only movie this year I can tell you right now that I did not watch all the way through to the end because this movie was god awful. I don't think it's the worst movie I've seen, honestly. I've Force Primeval, Hornet, but it's one movie where I just felt like, you know what, I know this is bad, this is terrible, it's not going to get any better, and I don't want to sit here and waste my time watching it. So off it went. Next up, a movie that me and Mighty Casey watched together, and that was The Barge People. This was a Shutter exclusive, by the way. Shutter exclusive. Oh, I was shuddering, all right. I was shuddering, trying to cover my eyes. I was like, man, this is just some blood. I was afraid Casey was just going to be like, dude, this is so fucked up. Why did you do this? Um, but we ended up watching the whole movie. We pretty much guessed how it was going to end. It did. There was no surprises here. The effects were really bad. The makeup was terrible. The dialogue was not all that great. It was just, yeah, it was just a bloody awful mess. Made no sense at all. I wanted my $20 back, even though I only paid $1.25 for it, but I felt like I deserved to have my $20 back. But yeah, this was pretty bad. The Barge People. Okay. Cook Off. Oh, so this is an ensemble picture. This movie was made in 2009. It didn't get a release till 2017. I take it back. It was made in 2007. It didn't get released till 2017. It's set for 10 years on the shelf. 10 years. And this movie has Melissa McCarthy in it. It has Jennifer Elise is in this movie. Jennifer Elise Cox is in this movie. There's some names in here. There's some names in this movie. I mean, there's a very talented cast. When I picked this up, I picked this up for a buck at Dollar Tree. I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be pretty fun. Ensemble acting, a great cast, and I'm like, Niecy Nash is in it, and she's a hoot, and and Phil Lewis is in it, and or Phil Lamar's in it. I mean, I was pretty hyped up for this one, and yeah, there's a reason why this movie sat on the shelf for 10 years, and it probably should have sat on the shelf for another 20. But I mean, it didn't even get released when Melissa McCarthy finally broke and became famous. They still said, "Hell no!" I'm sure that was Melissa McCarthy herself, were going like, "Listen, I'm going to pay you like $1 million to keep that son of a bitch on the shelf. I don't want that to see the light of day." Unfortunately, it did, and unfortunately for some of us, we actually paid money to see it, thinking that was funny. The only joke about this movie was the filmmakers actually got people to pay money to buy it. Luckily for me and the Cheetah, we only paid for $1, so we escaped. Um, and the last movie I'll mention for bottom 10. Wow, 30 minutes. Okay. The last movie for 2022 is a Dustin Ferguson movie called Blood Claws. Oh, well, you cannot do a bottom 10 without including a Dustin Ferguson movie. You just can't. It's against the reviewer contract. If they always say, like, when if you do a top 10, you can do a top 10 or whatever you want, but when you do a bottom 10, by law, you have to include a Dustin Ferguson movie. So that's going to be every year, all year. And unfortunately for me, I did watch Blood Claws on Tubi. I have no words. I truly don't have any words about how bad this movie was. The only thing I can tell you how bad it was I can't. I don't even have the words to tell you how bad this is. This is just some bullshit. It's it's, it's a 55-minute long movie minus the credits. It runs at around 43 minutes. 55 minutes, credits, 43. If you take out the song in the middle of the movie, that's another like 5 minutes. This is a 38-minute movie, and they sold it. They sold it on Hamilton Book. Hamilton Book. They were charging 14.99 for this son of a bitch. Could you imagine buying this for 14.99, getting it, putting it on there, and seeing what you got? I swear, as the satellites are going over our over Michigan right now, we literally would see miniature explosions happening from all the people shooting their DVD players, or shooting this movie. Um, this is a god awful movie about a Black Panther that escapes. It's terrible. I know it's like picking off fish in a barrel, but that's all right because this movie needs to be picked off in a barrel. All right, so that's my top 10, bottom 10. I know it came to the ball game really late, and I didn't really put together all the movies that I watched or whatnot, but I just wanted to get this out there. Um, so, like I said, I'll put down all the movies down below in the description box, whether I reviewed it or if I haven't, I'll put a trailer down to it so you guys can take a look. Copy them. Make sure you don't get the bottom 10. Do not buy anything from the bottom 10. There's nothing there. There's no redeeming qualities. There's no that it's so bad that it's good. No, they're so bad that they stink. There's nothing in the bottom 10 that will tell you that I'm telling you that is, oh yeah, watch it. It's so bad. It's really totally, no, they're all bloody awful. The top 10, stellar. Highly recommend them. Um, Thoroughly highly recommend them. And yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit the sub button. Um, Leave a comment down below. Let us know if you did a top 10, bottom 10 list on your channel. Leave a link, and I'll go over there and take a look at it. All right. Thanks so much, and we will talk to you soon. And Happy New Year. Peace.